Welcome to Not Married to the Name. Again, I am Deuce. This is BBL Drizzy, or better known as PBR Smasher. What's going on, my friend?
What's going on, Deuce?
Not shit.
Been
So,
gaming lately.
we did game a little bit last night. We dabbled in the Marvel Rivals universe there. Um,
We got drug in, let's be honest. The
100%.
appeal. We're
Yeah.
not big Marvel guys. We got drug into Marvel Rivals.
No, not a Marvel guy. Not really a hero shooter dude either. I mean, I do appreciate them. I have fun. I My first dive into it was Paladins, which is still honestly my favorite. I don't know why a lot of people don't like that game. I think it's the cards that you can choose from that kind of can make a character OP if you really know what you're doing. But that's my favorite. Overwatch, it's okay. It's not bad. At least Overwatch 2. I didn't play the original one. And
I
then
played the
Marvel Rivals.
original. I played the original. I was working with a group of buddies at the time that had tried talking me into it for like months. And I finally got the game. Took it back. It was 30 bucks. I took it back. I hated it so much. And they pretty much just disowned me as a friend after that because they were just coworkers. And they're like, fuck this guy. He doesn't like Overwatch. So,
It's
so
it's
that
it's
was it.
these games are because there's like ultimates and abilities and like there's if you got a good stack on your team and everybody knows what they're doing, you can really run through people who are like kind of new to the genre, I guess, which makes
Yeah.
it kind of unfun sometimes. Last night it took me the first couple games were easy because I think we were playing, super low level people and we were just dominating them. And then you get into that next game and you're like, oh, these guys actually play this game. They actually know how to use abilities and stuff. And it was fun for sure, but it's just a little too much on the melee characters. I don't like when somebody can get in up close on you, and I don't remember the character I was playing, but he has a little revolver with 3 shots in it. And it's like you have 3 shots, none of which are going to kill this dude unless you hit him in the head every single shot. And if it's a tank, you're not going to kill him. So it kind of sucks. And I know, yeah, you should have a healer on your team and all that kind of shit, but I don't
Yeah, you
know.
were being the Winter Soldier.
Oh, okay, yeah. There's just not enough
Uh,
independent gameplay in those games, which I understand. It's
I
not
was
the
gonna
game.
say the same thing. It's it's cool. We both have the same opinion that there's too much push pull. So you could kick someone's ass for 5 minutes and then just one ultimate ability brings them back into the fight. I don't like that at all. And then the mixture of having to pair with people and now you have to like certain characters align with other characters. I don't like that feature.
It's
Like I
kind
don't
of
want to
like the
have to be somebody to
yeah,
have a better opportunity of winning. I want to be who I want to be and I want to have a second to breathe and be independent thinking in the game. But you're so busy sweating trying to get back out to your team if you die or help them, you can't even take your eyes off the ball for a second.
yeah. I think the fact that you spawn so far back in a game where you can't sprint, most of the characters can't sprint. It's kind of annoying. It's just like why? Just keep me dead for longer. I'd rather be dead longer than have to run that distance every time, which I think is uh, a good trade off. Add 5 seconds or 10 seconds to how long you're dead for, and spawn me like right behind the farthest the furthest person back that's alive on the team,
You're
not all the
trying
way back.
Yeah,
It's
you're
just
trying to
annoying.
get there, and you're that whole time you're having to try and strategize, and you're hearing all your friends demoralize, like, "Okay, we're dying, we need heals, whatever." So if you're the healer trying to run a mile in,
The running
and they all
part is
die,
just
they all
boring.
die when you get there, then you just die again.
Yes, because you're the last
Super
one
annoying.
there. Yeah, I'm not a fan of the spawn in so far back and run, and that's all those games. That's not new to this game. But then there's also like Concord, which I was never gonna play.
Mhm.
Just wasn't interested in it, especially being that they're kind of they were DEI centric, just doing shit that doesn't need to be in games. But I like they said that the hero shooter genre was kind of like dying at that point because Overwatch 2 is kind of failing a little bit. I mean, I'm sure it has a decent player base, but you know, either way, this it kind of fills that shooter hero shooter team play kind of void that we've had for the last year and a half or so. but
Yeah.
they didn't do any, in
Personally,
my opinion, anything that really changed the game.
we had a 6 stack. I don't know if I recommend the game, but it's free and the queuing is instantaneous. So if
Yeah,
you're
it's
wanting a
fast.
game for free, go ahead and download it and see for yourself. But the guys we played with enjoy the game.
I'm not gonna call it a
We don't
bad
enjoy
game.
it.
Yeah, it's just not my
The
style.
Yeah, the graphics are really nice. The queue time is quick. It was pretty smooth. There wasn't much issue, except for on some of the deaths I had, but my computer might have just been tuned up too high.
Yeah, settings. Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't pass on it. I would if you like Overwatch style games, I'd give it a go. But I'm probably it's gonna be one of those games that I never play competitively. I won't go and
Hmm.
play ranked mode. I just don't care.
I would say I prefer Overwatch 2, but the guys we played with preferred this game. And the thing I think that was cool about this game is there's a lot of vertical pathways, so you could go up
That's true.
high all over the place. And Rocket Raccoon, for example, he felt pretty good when I was running on the walls, and it felt a little bit smoother than playing with Lucio in Overwatch 2 trying to run on the walls.
Yeah, I
So
don't. Yeah, that.
this one, it feels more. It's This one's definitely made for keyboard and mouse though. Overwatch 2 you can get away with playing on controller, but this one I feel like the tracking and the movement you'll
It's just
want to
too
play on
fast.
keyboard and mouse.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the one thing. Fuck, I forgot what I was gonna say. But the one thing I hate about this game, and that I hated about Overwatch 2, and then I hate about Overwatch 1 and Paladins and all these fucking games, is I feel like there's no creativity between characters. I feel like the characters are the same in every single game. They rename them, and I swear to God they use the same voice actors. I kid you not, that's the same voice actors in fucking Paladins as it is in Overwatch, as it is in Overwatch 2, and any other hero shooter you play. It's like, come on, man. Like the character, you
All
can't
right.
just like Groot is the same as the tree guy from Paladins. Like the same abilities too, other than Groot's a melee character. The other guy
Man,
throws an axe.
when you play Groot in this game, every second, I am Groot. I am Groot. Like it is fucking annoying.
I think that's kind of funny though, because that's all he
Yeah.
says anyway. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay,
so
so let's say, okay, what do you want from a voice actor? You get put into your shoes of like, you're gonna be some sort of robot character, and your robot character is an old man who's an engineer. How are you gonna make it sound?
suck my robot cock. Stuff like that. Like, come on. Like, these guys are like,
Yeah.
oh, you saw! And I'm like, no, bro. That's the same thing they said in the last game. Like, change the voice line. You literally just copied the audio files. That's how it feels.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'm tripping, but I swear to God, in Paladins and Overwatch, there is some of the same voice actors. Either that or they're like, this is the voice we need. You're going to have to do this. And he's like, oh, okay.
There's the same voice actors that cross over between Call of Duty and Apex Legends. I mean,
Yeah, but the only difference is those two games aren't the same thing. Apex Legends is, um, why can't I think? A BR, and Call of Duty is multiple game modes. So
right.
that is forgivable. But like when it's the same game, same characters, similar abilities, if not identical abilities, like, come on, man. Come on,
Yep.
man. How blue is your hair? That's all I'm asking. The people who have developed this game, I heard these are Japanese developers, but between Overwatch and like Paladins, like how blue is your hair? Come on, shave it off. Let's go. Start over. It's
Yep.
whatever though.
All right. Well, should we get into Delta Force?
Delta Force Hawk Tuah.
Yeah.
Spit on that thing. That game's fucking. That was a big miss for me.
We played it with a 3-man.
Yeah.
Um,
That's the one thing I wanted to mention before we get into this though. The people we played with last night on Marvels or on Marvel Rivals is the same people we played Overwatch with. So just for reference, like we played the game with each people, and I had way more fun playing Overwatch 2 than I did that game.
oh
last night.
yeah, way more.
Anyway,
Pushing
Hawk Tuah.
people off the map, grabbing
Yeah,
them.
good
Yeah.
times.
Talk to it or Hawk to it. Yeah. Basically, the main thing about this game, they tried to come out with 3 modes. We played 3-man, and the gunplay felt decent. The movement was kind of okay. The left to right movement I didn't like as much, but it was a miss for me too. Too many smoke grenades and the extra bullshit going on. Felt like.
Yeah, well, I'll start with the extraction mode. So I feel like the extraction mode was a literal ripoff of Arena Breakout, which is a similar game to Tarkov. I It's just something about the way the movement is and the like sounds in the game and just the kind of bulkiness of the character. Even though you can kind of move quickly, I feel like there's like a heft to your character, and I just don't like it. It doesn't feel right.
Do you have some more to add on to Extraction?
Yeah, it's trash. It sucked. It was boring. The loot. I heard there's a hideout and stuff in that game, but it's like that game. If you're gonna have multiple game modes, it's not a hardcore extraction shooter. And if it's not hardcore, I don't want to loot batteries. I don't want to loot tape. I don't want to loot a fucking keyboard. I don't care about that shit. I'll just go play another game mode because that's boring. And the map that we played on, I don't know if every map in the game is like this, but we talked about it before. It's like a funnel. I feel like you're just getting pushed in a direction from your spawn as opposed to like, well, okay. It's the same thing with every extraction shooter because you have to go from point A to point B to get out. But in this game, I felt like there was no alternative routes to get places, and it wasn't. It wasn't it. It wasn't it. I think their strong point is the other game modes, to be honest.
You're 100% right. It's a funnel because you have like two or three pathways.
Yeah.
Tarkov is a giant map. You can run anywhere you want, take any path you want to get there. You have to run through points, but there's no significant like
Chokes.
maybe in Shoreline there's a few, but it's not really
really.
noticeable.
I'd say the chokiest map's probably customs because
Yeah.
there's only 2 lanes in customs. Well, yeah, technically 2 lanes.
Yeah.
There's left side and right side. There's dorms and then construction. That's pretty much it. But you can still avoid people because those paths are wide enough, and there's not like doorways you have to go through necessarily, except for on like construction side if you're extracting, by old gas because you have to go through old gas or over the fence. But you can go over the fence or through old gas. So either way,
The other
I
gripe
didn't
for
feel
me
right.
was like the AI. You run into the PvE players and they're all the same. You have one riot shield guy, you have a rocket guy, and then some guys with assault
Now we're
rifles.
saying this with limited
And
playtime though. Just keep that in mind of the
yeah,
extraction mode.
right. Um, so shoot them. People in the game hear shots. They set up outside and wait for your ass.
Yeah,
That's
because
pretty
you
much
can't
what it
go
was.
back to where you came from because that's where you spawned in essentially. So you have to push through. So people can just hold angles, waiting for you to come through the 2 of 3 doors. One of the 3 doors, like choke points. I don't know. The extraction mode didn't feel engaging at all. It wasn't exciting. I didn't have that like, oh my god, I'm gonna die. I've got this fucking red card in my ass. It's like, oh my god, I have 3 keyboards and a mouse. Like, oh, woo, fuck you. The game sucked. That game mode sucks. I didn't like it. I actually liked I don't know what they called it in the game, but the rush mode. That was better, in my opinion.
Yeah. As far as the multiplayer aspect of it goes for that, I thought it's pretty fun. Only on maps that are enjoyable. The maps we played as a group tended not to be very enjoyable, so we didn't have the best experience because there wasn't any like, oh crap, this was awesome moments. It was just kind of just playing. You're kind of just playing mindlessly, and there was a few parts where we had some strategic movement, but there's such big teams in that game. You have to really rely on the groups that are in your, I don't know if you want to call it a team or whatever, but you got to rely on them so much. If they suck, you're gonna get wiped out.
Yeah, I think when I was talking to Grant about it, we kind of equated the game to fuck, what's it called? Metro on Battlefield, where it is. I mean, Metro is a huge choke point. That whole map is, a fucking metro. So it's super choky, but it always felt fun to play. I was never like, man, this is stale. When I played that game, the first time I played it, I was like, this is kind of stale. Like, there's not. It's an abundance of smokes. The gunplay is really not that fun. It's just that The TTK is it's okay. It's a little I don't know. It wasn't fast, but sometimes it was fast. I feel like when you're getting shot at, it's fast, but when you're killing somebody, it's a slower time to kill. So I don't know. I don't know. Like, just something about the game just was free to play. I guess is how it felt. It felt like a free to play game where it's just like a little heavier than it should be because I don't know. I don't know how they're gonna monetize it necessarily.
I thought the recoil could be dialed back a little bit. It was a little high recoil.
I wonder if that
Um,
comes with unlocking attachments, if you can dumb it down.
I was
I don't
wondering that
know
as
how
well.
attachments even worked in that game. I wasn't. You do earn them, right, by playing?
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like you're going to be able to buy them if you're
What's your
asking.
take on the abilities?
I don't even remember what they were.
Like metal legs that help you sprint for longer duration. There's
Um,
the bow and arrow chick that shot
oh,
smoke grenades or whatever, or
yeah.
stuff that you could see through smoke.
I don't like that in any game. Um, because I'm more of a purist when it comes to shooters, which is kind of why I like Tarkov Arena. I don't play it that much because it does kind of get a little boring playing it by yourself. But I like point, shoot, typical gameplay stuff. When someone starts fucking shooting a sensor over your head and like they're seeing where you're at, and it's like, yeah, that's cool, but when there's like 40 people on the team that have the same fucking ability, you're like, that's kind of fucking boring. If it was limited, to like one person on the entire fucking 30-man team, that would be cool. That would require strategy. That would require some thinking and some team play. But the fact that every other person can have the same ability is kind of boring.
I'd like to see what the player base is now that it's been about a month. Has it dropped down a lot? Is
I
it the
don't know.
same?
You can look, I'm sure. I mean, you can look at the Steam charts, but
But what it did feel like, I would say that the people we played against, everyone seemed like they were pretty decent at the game. So I'm sure people were giving it a try. Like people that were playing, we weren't shredding by any means. It was a good challenge.
no. I mean, I didn't go like negative KD, but my KD wasn't like whoa crazy high. It was pretty balanced. Probably a 1.2 maybe.
Vehicles are really strong in that game.
They were, but I didn't really have a problem with them because like the map we were playing, once you pushed into like the tunnel system part, there was no more vehicles because they couldn't get in there. So
Yeah.
with that aspect, I liked because it kind of did balance the vehicles out, and I didn't really have too much of an issue with them when we were outside. But the map just felt like, just like the extraction, kind of funnily. Even though I understand that's the game mode, but it felt funnily, and it felt like if you didn't, this is stupid to say, but if you didn't know the map, you were getting shot from the side all the time, and you're like, I thought the wall was there, and that's kind of annoying, you know.
I'd
But
say too
that's just
that
gaming in
map you're
general,
talking about where we got funneled in the subway area. Um, there
or
was
whatever it
time for
was.
us. We were in that for like 15 minutes. There was time for us to have full conversations on like, should we just quit? Like, do we just quit right now? Because this isn't nothing's fucking happening. There's no tactical. You couldn't really be extremely tactical, and we're tactical players.
Yeah.
It's just you got to hope that you're gonna wipe enough and that they're not gonna spawn in time that you can get through that point.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. I think that game is going to be much better as a single player game. We didn't play the conquest style mode either. We didn't unlock it yet, which I think is a huge misstep in their part. I think that should be the first mode you get. I think people want to do extraction shooters so fucking bad because of Tarkov's, uh, we'll call it success in the genre, but just don't. Like, why is everybody sucking everyone else's dick to try and do the same thing? Like, nah. I honestly think that game would be funner if this is actually kind of a cool concept, but it was like, you play that rush mode or conquest and you can still extract from there, and like, there's a big battle in the middle of the map that you can take part in or not, kind of thing.
Yeah,
So I don't know.
yeah. They
That
they
would
need
be
to
that would be something cool. Why? I mean, I just gave you a free idea.
number one,
Asian
get rid
big
of
boob queen.
extraction.
Yeah.
Number two, get that campaign out. And when you're ready to get that campaign out, make sure Delta Force, make sure you have new content or some sort of fine tuning on your multiplayer so people can enjoy it.
I would rather play
change
that
stuff.
game. Yeah, I would rather play that game as a team deathmatch with no abilities.
Yeah.
That would be more appealing to me. That's all I've been looking for since EA killed Medal of Honor is a fucking just a fun team deathmatch game because I don't enjoy Call of Duty. I don't at all. I don't like the way people play drop shotting and stuff like that. It's like oh yeah yeah that's real viable as a strategy. No, it's boring. It's lame. I don't like
Well,
games with aim assist either.
I don't have a huge gripe with Call of Duty. I hate the like the sliding around corners and jumping as well. I just think the map design's been dog shit for the past couple of seasons, like just the past couple of games.
It's because
Terrible
they
maps.
fired the doc, man.
I don't know if his maps were that popular either.
I don't either. I
I,
just know he
I
always
like the
talks about
doc.
it. I do too. I don't get the. I don't understand the hate on speculation. Nobody knows anything, and they're all a bunch of haters.
I will say he's made three maps on a game that's probably one of the least liked in the series. So
Which one? Ghosts?
Ghosts.
I never played it. That was like when I decided
I heard it was
I'm
Camp
never going
Central.
back. Yeah, I don't know. That's when I decided I'm never playing Call of Duty again. The last one I played was the World War II one, but that was only because my buddies were like, "Oh my god, Call of Duty, let's play it," and I'm just like, "I'll give it a try." But I think I played maybe 4 hours of that game, and then I never touched it again. I mean, I have played
World War II
COD
is
Mobile.
okay.
Was it?
Yeah.
I don't remember if I. I just remember one map. I don't
The
remember if I liked
coolest
it or not.
part, we're getting off a little bit, but the coolest
We're
part of
allowed
World
to
War II was they had this place called headquarters. So you all got to like run around in the
watch
headquarters and
1v1s
like,
and shit.
yeah, that was awesome. That
Yeah,
was cool.
yeah. That was probably the funnest part. I love 1v1s, especially like that's what I liked about the Tarkov game mode with the 2v2s. Because you could sit up
Mhm.
there and watch and talk shit from above, you know, and that added something to the game. Being able to like not actually have to partake, but you get to learn how people play and yada yada yada. Yeah, it was fun.
Yep.
So, Hawk Ops or what's the name for it? The main name?
Delta
Oh, Delta
Force.
Fart. Delta Farce. Hawk Tuah. I can't recommend playing. I mean, I'll recommend playing it. It's free, but I can't. I can't say that I'm ever gonna play it again.
I'm gonna give him a side thumb. You can make the thumb go like to a 6 out of 10 or a 7 out of 10 if you change your game.
Yeah, it has
It's
good
it's
base.
not terrible.
No,
It's
just missing.
yeah.
It missed the
I'd rather
mark.
I'd rather pay a little money and have something fun to play.
I don't even know about the money thing. I don't know. Okay, this is a perfect segue. I think the only free to play game that I have actually stuck to playing is Fortnite, and only since they
That's
introduced zero build.
yeah.
I would never play the
Fortnite's
build.
awesome.
I'm not a
All right.
fucking tweaking crackhead. I cannot do building. It's just like it's too much for my old man brain. I'm like touching 40, you know?
All right. We will say, by the way, the characters did have some boobies in Marvel Rivals.
Oh yeah, they had body, they had tits,
Body.
ass, you know? The girl characters didn't have penises. You know, I appreciate the staying true to the anatomy of the gender they were assigned at birth.
Which is funny because you hated the female operators in Delta Force. You hated them.
I forgot about that. Yeah, it's annoying as fuck. It's because it in Marvel Rivals and in Fortnite, those games don't take place in reality or try to take place in reality. Delta Force is supposed to be a realistic scenario, you know, obviously not realism, but like you know, semi-realistic scenario, and you've got women on the battlefield moaning when they get shot, which is fucking annoying. It's annoying
Yeah.
to me. Like, no offense, I love
And
women, but I do not want women injected into everything for the sake of somebody with blue hairs crying. I can't identify. You think I identified as Laura Croft, motherfuckers? I love that game. That game was awesome, and I'll play with that with tits every time. Like I'm never once was like, oh man, if this was a man, it'd be so much better. I never thought that because I'm not an idiot like you people seem to be.
what if they made Laura Croft's video game and she had these rice cakes as boobs. Just imagine one little rice cake, what they're doing in the video games. Is that a bad thing
I don't know. She
to
did
make them
have.
kid friendly?
She had. Fuck kids, dude. Kids come from people fucking. That's how kids are born. Kids are. Come on, man. These people they're square jawing women. Women don't have square jaws. They have, more of a point to their jaw, more of a smoothness. And now all these women in all these games, like the Star Wars game and that new Interstellar game that they announced, they all have fucking square jaws, bald heads, no tits, flat ass, and they look like dudes. They act like dudes. But at the end of the day, if you were to take all the men versus all the women, I guarantee you the women are not going to live. The men are going to murder the women. If not, I'm not going to say rape and pillage, but rape and pillage. Like, a man is a man, a woman is a woman, and there are differences. Okay, let me just say, this is kind of off topic too. An ex of mine had a sister, and the sister was dating a trans man. So it was a woman pretending to be a man. Now, no offense to them. They were super nice, but I know men. I hang out with men. All my friends are dudes. The second you hang out with this person, you're like, that's not something a man would say. That's not something a man would do. You look like a dude, but at the end of the day, you're not a dude. Take as much testosterone as you want. You don't think like us. You don't act like us. You don't question things like us. You question different things. You think about different things. You think about the scenario in a different way. So, I mean, people are so fucking retarded these days. I'm sorry. I know this isn't supposed to be about that, but it bothers me that especially kids, and you're a teacher, and obviously it's not too heavy in your, area, but telling people they can be something they're not should be criminal. I'm sorry, it should be criminal. All these teachers that are trying to do that shit, they should get their asses kicked. They should be bullied. We need to bring back bullying. I was bullied in school. You know what happened? I fucking stood up to my bully. You know what happened after that? He stopped bullying me. You know why? Because I have balls. Anyway, next topic.
Segue into Fortnite.
Fucking dancing on their corpses, bitch.
Yeah. Fortnite Chapter 6, Season 1. Last season, the guns, not very good.
What was last season?
The abilities.
Which one was
last season? They kind of added all those hero, like the Black Panther gloves, the Marvel shit. It was Marvel.
Oh, that's right. They had like the Captain America shield. They had the Black Panther gloves. They had
Wolverine.
Did
they have a Wolverine thing going on? Okay.
I'm trying to remember what else there was. Anyway, that season I would say was super mid. Oh. It was super mid. The guns were boring, and it wasn't. It didn't make me turn the game off though.
I'll go first, I guess. So my take on this new season, I don't really care for the guns very much. The map's really pretty. They kind of trimmed some of the fat of all the special abilities being way too overpowering. I do like one of the SMGs, and Deuce and I talk about it a lot. I think there's guns made for controller players and there's guns made for PC players. So Deuce and I are generally opposite on the guns we like.
I never thought about that.
Ammo is really hard to find. And even
unless
though the map's
you find
really...
it. When you find it, you find all of it. But when you don't, you're like, I got 60 rounds for the whole game.
I think we need to learn the map spots where the ammo is heavier.
Yeah, that's true.
Although the map's pretty, there's a lot of like, I wouldn't say they're the best fighting spots. It's a cool looking map, but the fighting spots for me and the POIs aren't necessarily the best.
It feels flat. I don't feel like there's much like there are mountains and stuff, and you'll notice in like the final circles, all the sweaty tryhard teams are always at the top of the mountain, which I hate. I wish that at the top of mountains they would put more obstructions. Mm-hmm. I don't like the open line of sight like that, especially with some of the guns that are in the game right now. But yeah, so far this season is I've only been playing for 4 seasons. I'm new to Fortnite, so maybe a year I've been playing. But I feel like this season is my least favorite. I thought the cars were my least favorite. Yeah, I think so far. I don't like the abilities. I feel like they kind of I don't know. It just doesn't really vibe with me well. The map I don't like. I don't like the map at all. I liked the map the season before with like Mount Olympus, and that map had mountains but stuff obstructing between the views. So it was like it was balanced. I felt like that was my favorite map so far that we've played on, cuz they just kept changing that map, adding areas but never really hurting it. Like, they added the ship down in the swamp or whatever area that is. And that was fun. It changed the way that whole area played. But I feel like the new map, I'm not gonna say it's terrible, but it's just not fun. Some parts about it are just kind of boring.
I think the if I had to choose between the three games, Delta Force, Fortnite, and Marvel, I would play Delta. I mean, I would play Fortnite though for sure. Um,
I
so
hated on Fortnite for
we're still
years.
playing Fortnite. We're not playing Fortnite.
Yeah.
The other thing with this too, I think they kind of limited the movement. They add different kinds of movement abilities in each season, and this season the movement isn't as smooth. Like you have an option to carry a sword, you have an option to wear the Oni mask and throw it. I don't like that option. Um, so really, I guess the only movement I see being viable right now is shockwave grenades. Um, and with your limited sprint, and Deuce doesn't use shockwave grenades, but with your limited sprint, it's kind of flat.
The limited sprint is the downfall of that game for me. I feel like, I'm not a tweaky gamer, but it's also not a hardcore game. And I feel like if
Mhm.
people were able to infinitely sprint, the fights would be funner. The fights would have more life to them. I feel like they're really dead when you just like, okay, well, I gotta walk right now because I can't fucking sprint. I can't get up on this thing because I can't fucking run. Like, uh, I'd say that's honestly my biggest gripe with the game. Because when the cars came out, they had the nitro boost, so you could just fucking, squirt yourself with some boost and just go for it, and that was
Ah, I
awesome.
forgot about that. Nitro Boost was legit.
That was awesome. And I don't even care if you run faster, which that made you run faster. I just want to run longer. I feel like it's like you're playing a very fit person with a fat person's stamina.
What do they
Just
have to
double the
lose?
running. Yeah, what if they
What do
don't
they
have
have to
anything to lose?
lose to just do that? See if people like it more.
Probably sweats. Take advantage of it and just dominate everybody with movement. But I feel like that's part of the game, you know?
Well, they put in those medallions where one person can go get the unlimited sprint,
They still
but
have stuff like that.
those are the heavy sweats.
Yeah. I don't
Like
drop on bosses. I don't want to drop on a boss. It's boring. It's the same fight every time. It's just not it's not that engaging. I'd rather those things be almost
shoot
random.
shoot the bullet sponge, run out of ammo, risk getting third partied. Yeah.
Well, we almost did that time. I think we won that game actually though when we were up top. But yeah, it's just like, yeah, okay, I got 60 rounds in all of my fucking guns, and they're all using the same ammo. So this is stupid.
What do you think? Would you be open to trying the OG Fortnite?
Yeah, I don't know what it is though.
It's just one of the older maps. Um,
I
the
think I
older
did
map
play a
points of
round of it.
interest are really good. You played it like last season,
What?
OG, but this is a different OG. Like this is the one that's permanently back to stay.
No, I played this update.
Oh, did you?
I think it was a solo game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't know. I remember the original map, the OG map, just because I
Mm.
was watch people play it. But I only played it maybe twice, once on Switch and once on like PlayStation. And I was like, game's gay. I'm not trying to build this shit. These guys are fucking killing me only because they're spamming the build, and
I loved
I'm
OG.
wasting bullets trying to fucking shoot this stupid fucking wall down. So I don't know. That was
OG was
frustrating.
awesome because there were these little bushes you could hide in. You'd be hiding in the little bush, and you'd see a battle going on right in front of you, and you'd be like, "Oh my God, there's three people left, and I'm one of them, and I'm in this bush." I gotta try and like time it just perfectly to third party.
Yeah.
Or or you'd be running around. Once you got good, you'd run around and you would shoot every bush. You'd be like, "Fuck this, I'm not trusting anything." That
Yeah.
was cool. I like that.
I wish they'd had no build back then.
Yeah.
That would have been cool.
Go-
Then I'd have played it. That
Mm,
I hated on the game for years, years because of the building. I was like,
But
Who besides a Minecraft child wants to fucking do this? And people like, what's the streamer's name? I forget now.
Ninja.
Yeah, people like Ninja who are getting paid millions of dollars to play a game that's frustrating.
To me, I feel like the builders back then though, it was like building staircases to get height. Or like there was levels to the building. So you'd play against people and you would know how to build your square and your stand. So you'd build your basic cover. The game evolved so much over time though that it did get really frustrating.
Well, that's like
So
Siege. Siege has entirely changed. That when we first played Siege, it was very Counter Strike esque. Counter Strike esque. It was a strategic first person shooter. The abilities weren't crazy, and as people learned the mechanics, then you got people punching holes in the wall and holding an angle through a fucking penis hole, a glory hole. So
let me
gameplay evolves anyway, naturally
Yeah,
in
let
every
me
game.
let me preface and explain it like this. It used to be you would build yourself a little fort when you're like one of the last squads left. You'd get in your little fort and get ready. But then it evolved to anytime you shoot someone, a wall goes up, and then you have to completely re-strategize. It was not like that. It was you build a wall to get somewhere to like grab a chest. You build a wall to create a fort. You don't just like spam giant structures immediately out of instinct. That was not how the game was.
Yeah.
And it changed pretty rapidly. It didn't take long once Ninja came out to
Well, then
to
you got
completely
everybody's
change it.
eyes on it, and they're watching it, and they're like, "Oh, what if I did this? Or what if I do this?" Seeing different
Yep.
options of what can be done, and then, I'm not
The
hating on people who are good at build. I'm just hating
the
on the game itself. I don't like the
the,
game.
the problem with build was then you'd have to or you'd have to go for materials and harvest them for like half the game. There
It
needs
slows
to
the fight
be
down, though.
yeah, Fortnite needs like I always thought they should just give you 100 of each material instead of 1,000 or 500 of each material. Give you 100 of each material to do basic plays, but not have massive build fights.
Yeah. Well, the one thing I'll say is
Some people like those.
if you're
Sorry to cut.
building, you're less likely to jump through a window and more likely to break the wall down to get the parts to go through the window, to get
Yeah.
through inside. So, I mean, it's not totally. It's just changing the way you think about the map. Not so much that you like have to like forage for fucking shit. Plus, if you kill somebody, you get all their stuff too, right?
Yeah.
So
Well, and now every part of Fortnite you can climb. There's zip lines, right? So you can get up places. But before they never had zip lines, so you'd have to build. It was part of the game. You'd have to build to get up a mountain. So your builds would be to get you somewhere. Or if you're going down, you couldn't just crouch slide down a mountain. You'd have to build down so you don't fall and die.
well, it is what it
I
is.
went
The
off.
game is
Oh,
evolving.
deep.
Nah, that's cool. Um, yeah. I don't know. Fortnite has a pretty solid hold on what it is, and it hasn't really changed too much. What?
Today, by the way, I think Fortnite, December 20th is today.
Yeah.
You can go in and they have the Christmas thing going on.
Oh, this guy's been hyped on this stupid Christmas gifts.
Oh, best time of the year. You go into the Christmas gift shop. They have this giant like nutcracker dude, and they have all these gifts you can get. It's the best time of the year to play Fortnite, I'm telling you guys. So tune in for that and just get a gift each day.
I might have to. I don't know. I wonder if there's an update. That game updates a lot. It reminds me of
Yeah.
Call of Duty with the amount of updates they have.
Yeah.
It's kind of frustrating. I think their seasons are too short too. The
They-
seasons are too short for having a battle pass.
Yeah,
Because
they are.
unless you're a fucking grinder and you're coming home and it's your main game and you're coming home every single night. Like the first season I bought the battle pass, I grinded all the way through it into the bonus season. But that was hundreds of hours of just playing this stupid game. And the last season I didn't buy it. The last 2 seasons I haven't bought it because I know how much time it takes to, really take full advantage of spending V-Bucks on it.
Let me tell you, they do
Let me tell
making a free game the right way, I think.
100%. It's all skins, music, dances. Like, it's literally, you don't have to partake in it. I ran the
Yeah.
OG skin I still run it mostly, but I ran the OG skin almost every single season up until this one. So Make money, use the money to make money, repeat. Mm.
For those of you listening and not watching, I have a cheesy poster that's a hustle poster behind me that says that.
Oh, check out this shirt I'm wearing.
Oh, pull. Let's see the bottom. What's it say? Party like this guy.
Party like this guy, and that's my dad. and
Is it really?
And he's sober.
Oh my gosh.
My mom made these.
Where's that at?
It was my brother's wedding, basically.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, he was hyped, I guess. But my dad's sober. Well, not sober because he's never drank. He doesn't drink, so.
I can't imagine getting that hyped sober.
He's just that guy. He's just that guy, pal. The opposite of me.
Yep. You're not that guy.
I'm not that guy.
All right. Well, that's hitting us here 45 minutes about, huh?
That's 40 minutes, yeah. You want to tell us
a little lift
your
story?
little Lyft experiences?
All right. So driving for Lyft. I got one ping on my phone after driving for 8 hours.
Ooh.
And the ping said, let's go to a different city. Let's take this woman an hour and a half to a different city for $180. So I was like, ooh.
What's the return?
Yes.
What's the gas?
The gas wasn't bad. It was a little over
There and
30
back?
bucks.
There and
Yeah,
back,
30.
$30.
Yeah. So took her there. Anyway, it's about 100 miles each way. So it was 200 miles on the car. But
Still, that's a good drive for a Lyft.
I show up to the emergency room. This woman comes out and she's like, "Are you sure you want to take me?" And I said,
In the butt?
I was expecting she was like a travel nurse or something. I said, "Are you sure you want to go?" I said I could take you to like a car rental place or something. She said, "No, I just need to be still." So she went to the doctor, the ER, and got discharged apparently hours before this for some sort of heart issue she was having. She said in her mind that she thought she was bleeding out, but that wasn't until I started driving. So she said that. She was a very nice lady. She's 50 years old. I start driving her, and she said, "I don't think I'm gonna make it through the night, to be honest with you, but
Here's my life savings.
I'm taking my shot." She said, "I think I can make it." And I'm in my head like, what the fuck is going on here? She's wearing the blankets from the hospital.
Was she
and
a
she's
runaway?
Totally normal and nice. She said, "I left my pickup at the hospital because I wanted to stay still. And they're not helping me. They're mean. They're laughing. They're not taking it seriously." So she thought that she had some sort of like leaky heart valve. And I hope she didn't.
Yeah.
Yes. I hope she did not. Obviously. But in my head, I think she was just paranoid kind of. She was having a lapse of being paranoid and not trusting the hospital.
Yeah.
So I took her to the other hospital in the other city.
Oh, that's why she was going there to get a second opinion.
Yeah. So she got there, tipped me $30, and she wouldn't get out of the fucking car. So we're sitting in the like entryway of the hospital, and she's just going on and on talking and talking. And I'm thinking like, so you're dying, but like you're not wanting to get in the emergency room right away.
Are you trying to suck it or something, lady? What's up?
It was really strange. And she said she had texted all of her family, told them all like she was probably going to die. But she seemed visibly perfectly fine. It was very strange. So I think she was paranoid.
What happened?
Get into this new city.
Yeah.
I don't know. Get into this new city. Take a ride because I forgot to turn the thing off. So I don't know my way around this city, but I go pick this guy up, standing on the side of the street, like in the intersection pretty much, with a bag, like a big green army bag. And I was like, oh, shit. He gets in, straight out of rehab. Immediately is on the phone with his girlfriend who's in jail, talking about their drug dealer and how they're going to start dealing again. And he's just going on, asking her for a pity suck when she gets out of jail, and like, all this stuff. And he gets to this apartment, and I'm sitting in the car waiting for like 7 or 8 minutes. I'm like, fucking A.
For him to get
I,
out?
yeah, to give him he was a two-stop guy. So I could
Oh,
actually, you can
you were
cancel
running
the lift.
drugs, bro.
Yeah, you can cancel the
That
lift.
guy just picked up a fucking ounce of cocaine.
I left that motherfucker, dude.
Did you?
Yeah, you can hit the leave button if they take too long.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck this guy. I'm never gonna be back here again driving. Like, I was his first ever Lyft ride. He was brand new on the app.
He was
Problem was like,
he was definitely using you to mule drugs around the city. He was
yeah,
picking up drugs. Did you
for
ask him for
sure,
some?
probably. What?
Did you? What was he in rehab for? Did he say?
He reeked of cheap cigarettes.
He's
Oh,
probably
I'm sure he was in
alcoholic then.
rehab for meth or fent.
Fent.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Didn't seem like weed, that was for sure.
No, you don't usually go to rehab for
Um,
weed unless you're really weak-minded. No offense to those
so
who've gone to rehab for weed, but you know, have you ever tried just stopping?
I didn't know.
It's not
People go
very
to
addictive.
rehab for weed?
Uh, I gotta imagine there's some people that have had to go to rehab for weed because they didn't realize that if they just stopped buying it, uh, then they wouldn't smoke it. I mean,
Yeah.
realistically, it's not very addictive. It's more
Yeah.
of a mental thing. But I guess some people are pretty retarded. So,
This is not where the story ends, though.
oh,
So
you didn't turn off the app still.
there was too much money to be made. I go pick up this guy, and he gets in, totally normal guy, finally. I'm like, thank God, normal guy. Man, he's coming out with bags, just bags of stuff. And he's like, moving apartments. And I'm thinking, oh God,
Lifting.
what happened with this guy? And all of a sudden, yeah, he's lifting to move apartments. Strange. He said, I got back from the bar last night and came into my apartment and there was just shit and piss everywhere. He said it's the second time it happened. The piping from the people above him, something's wrong with the plumbing in their apartment. So all of the apartments above him flooded in through his bathroom and just reeked out his apartment apparently. So this dude's place got trashed. So his apartment company gave him a new apartment for free, which is good. But thank God that guy's stuff didn't smell.
That's crazy. I see. Like having spent a lot of time in San Francisco, I can only imagine. Most of the Lyft, most of the people taking this service are probably pretty normal, but I gotta imagine there's some fucking interesting interactions that happen with those drivers. If not getting murdered, I just
I didn't feel safe in that city.
well, yeah, you're letting a driver or you're letting somebody in your car. You don't have like a fucking thing behind you to keep them from, you know, touching you, spitting on you, stabbing you.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you carry your gun when you go?
No, but I think about getting one of those ones that pops out so I could just be like, boom, bam, if needed. But
It's more about
uh, like if someone tries to choke me, I want to be able to have
yeah. I mean, you could
something.
always
But
get a mace, but then you're macing yourself.
I carry a jackknife, which isn't going to do anything because I don't know how to use a jackknife
What the
for
fuck's a
for
jackknife?
what's not a jackknife. What's the one that you whip open?
Just a knife? uh
The ones that are skinny and they swip open, they look like a hair comb.
oh, a
Switchblade.
switchblade, yeah.
Yeah. Carry one of those.
Yeah. I mean, it's a more of a deterrent than a fist. Getting stabbed is, I gotta imagine, not the funnest thing. It's a lot of blood to potentially be lost. I got blood drawn, and as I was getting my blood drawn, I was getting lightheaded, and I was telling the lady, I was like, I could never imagine getting stabbed in the stomach. Like, the
Yeah.
pain, that's one thing. It's the blood loss that would freak me out. Because just getting blood taken from my arm, I'm like, that's a tiny amount of blood, but I'm feeling it, bruh. I could never
Imagine
imagine what it
getting
feels like
multiple
to bleed
stabs.
out. Yeah, to bleed out would be it's probably almost euphoric, almost kind of a high feeling, because your head gets super light. And you're just like, whoa,
Probably battling passing out the whole time.
yeah, probably a shitty way to
Um,
go, but not the worst, I imagine.
after after I take this guy, I take one more ride, and it takes me kind of in the middle of nowhere. But the people I picked up were totally normal, and they were from my hometown.
Oh, nice. Did you know
And
them?
I was like, no, they were like right next to my hometown, minutes.
Yeah.
And we all knew had like mutual acquaintances. So that
Oh, that's
was
cool.
very awesome. Then I drove home and the lift took me some road it didn't take me to the main highway. It took me on like some side highway.
Why didn't you use regular
And
GPS?
I don't know. I don't know why I didn't, but that fucked me up. So then I had to drive like 45 minutes on some back highway that was supposedly kind of a shortcut to get back to the main highway. And I had to piss because it'd been 3 hours. So the
I
gas
just piss
station I
on the
went
side of the
to,
road.
someone was in there probably using the bathroom. So I stopped to piss on the side of the road. And of course, vehicles are coming from like every
Oh,
way. And there was none. There was no vehicles. And then all of a sudden they just all start flying. And I'm like trying to piss as fast as possible, but it's 0 degrees out.
piss is freezing right out of your dick.
Yeah. So that was my Lyft experience.
Yeah, I'll never do Lyft. I don't think I could. I'll never do Lyft. I don't want to ever do delivery stuff because I don't like driving in places I'm not familiar with. Not because like I'm scared. It's because I hate being lost. I can't
True.
stand not knowing where I'm at and where I'm gonna go, or how to get out of a place that I'm at. I don't know. Just like relying on GPS for me is not comforting at all.
You remember what life was like before GPS?
Yeah, I do. Because when I was working in the Bay Area, there's a lot of streets in San Francisco, ones that you never heard of before. But we used to use paper maps, like a
Yeah.
fucking big old book of maps. And if a new road was built, you didn't know. You had to find that out on your own. The roads were constantly changing, and the maps were only updated once a year, not like instantaneously.
I
So
remember when MapQuest came out, you were able to like print the maps
yeah,
before
we did
going.
that
That
too.
was nice.
Yeah. We would print maps, but the big map book, like, because we would go from job site to job site and stuff like that. So the big map book was like life. You lived in that book. You had to learn how to read the map, learn how to find where you are just based off of street signs and like the whole thing. It was a totally different time,
Uh,
and people that it's funny. I seen a meme today too. This is kind of off topic, but it's a guy, and you might even be a little too young for this. You might have experienced it, but I think you're a little too young. You weren't probably driving then. Is CD booklets and changing a CD while you're driving and flipping through your CD catalog.
yeah,
Uh,
I didn't have to do that.
that's something that people don't have to do anymore. They just go on their phone and Siri, play Two Guys Butt Fucking, and you get it. But back then it was like I remember one of my buddy's sister's boyfriends had like 3 or 4 gigantic fucking CD catalogs in his car, and we would just like going through them and
Oh, you're talking about natural, normal CDs?
yeah, like a disc.
Oh, like I thought you were talking about maps on a CD.
No, I was talking about music, music,
Oh,
music.
oh, for sure. Yeah, I grew up with CD. Like, I have
CD player.
tons of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still have them in my car.
Oh, do you? I
Yeah, I
have a
used to
CD
burn.
player in
I
my car,
burned
but
CDs. It
I
would
don't listen
take
to
like
music.
I remember burning songs onto a CD would take forever. You could only put maybe 14 songs
It
on a
would take
CD.
forever if you didn't have a fast read write time on your CD burner. I used to always have the dopest CD burner because I was obsessed with technology when I was younger. So then the DVD burners came out. Oh yeah,
You
but
ever burn a girl a CD?
no,
Oh,
never burned a
I
girl a
did.
CD. My music
Yeah.
wasn't to be shared. It was mostly like, oh god, I don't know. It's kind of all over the place back then. But no, I
And my
never
brother
I never
got
burned a
one
mixtape.
stolen. He got over like 100, 200 CDs stolen once.
And that
Ah,
guy's probably
brutal.
like, damn it,
Shouldn't have taken him to school.
yeah, dingus.
Yeah.
It's like your Pokemon cards.
Trying to
But
think what else with CDs. Oh, you used to ride the school bus with CD players, and you'd have to turn them upside down to like they'd get worn out, and you'd have to hold them a certain way to actually make the CD play.
to get it to
I
spin.
remember that.
Yeah, I was.
I was never spoiled, so all the kids had MP3 players.
Oh, I never had an MP3. I didn't have an MP3 player until I stole my mom's because she didn't use it, and I was probably in a freshman in high school when that happened. But like, so I started obviously with a cassette player. That's what every kid my age had, was a little cassette player. And then CD players came out, and the cool thing was is the anti-skip function, or like how many seconds of buffer did it have? You could sit there and tap it for 30 seconds and before it would skip. Fuck, man, good times. Technology has changed so much. You know, it's funny. You are just like on the precipice of this, but my generation is the last generation to grow up without technology in their daily life. You know, when I grew up, we had gaming consoles, but it was like you had to go to your friend's house to play it. There was no internet. There was no, I mean, there was internet, but not, you know, not like it is today. It was like it's a totally different atmosphere. But now it's just like, I don't know. I see my girlfriend's daughter on her phone, and it kind of upsets me a little bit how addicted kids are to the use of their phones. You know, and I can't really speak too down on it because I love YouTube and I love my computer, but at the same time, I can go skateboard, I can go for a run, I can go work out, and I don't need my phone. I don't even need music for that matter. Like, I don't know. I feel like kids are we're starting the decline. Not that we were ever smarter than we were, but I feel like we're going to get actually a little more retarded. Just because the information is out there doesn't mean you're going to find it. So
There was a 8th grade kid asked me what I thought about that yesterday. He said, "Do you think society is going to get stupider?"
well, stupider ain't a word, is it?
Yeah, I don't
It's
know.
the dumbing down of society, I think is the way you'd say it. But I'm going to say yes and no, because there's always going to be people who strive to learn and want to advance things. Like, that's just natural in some people. Like Elon Musk, like the guy doesn't take a break, but he still finds time to enjoy himself. So I think generally the general population, I don't think is ever going to get dumber. I think it's going to be the same. You got to think about it. Like back in the day, like when there was no information to be gathered by, people, they just didn't know it. And now there's so much misinformation that I hate using that word too, because people associate it with certain things, but like it's true. But I don't know what's more dangerous, not having information or having access to information that's not always right. Like where is it? I think if you don't have information, you're probably less likely to be retarded because you have to figure things out either on your own or do some sort of research. And now you can just chat GPT and it's like telling you this thing, but is chat GPT actually right? Or has it been programmed to lead you astray intentionally or unintentionally? So right. I don't know. I don't think we're going to get dumber. I think human beings are as smart as they've always been. And I don't think we're ever going to eclipse ourselves. It's just the evolution of technology and curiosity. So like when you have technology at your fingertips, you have curious people that are going to learn how to manipulate that technology to find new things, which is what we've been doing. But those people are no smarter than Nostradamus or, all this previous, generations of people who sought more than the daily grind. So to answer that kid's question, no, we're not going to get dumber. We've been dumb. A few of us are smart, but most of us are pretty fucking stupid.
Yeah, I kind of said the same thing. I said laziness. Said you guys are just lazier. I said.
Yeah, that is true. 100%. Ask your dad.
The ones that aren't lazy, they'll be fine.
Ask your dad, ask anybody. I think that laziness is a generational thing.
My dad doesn't know. My dad doesn't know what.
He's not plugged into the
He's too busy fucking working.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
My dad's too busy working to know. My dad's 68 or 69 years old, and that dude, it is work from 6 a.m. till 10 o'clock at night. No hobbies, nothing.
Yeah, work. And there's people like that still.
Since he's been 16 years old.
Yeah, there's people like that still, and there always will be people like that. But the majority of people have it pretty easy. The spectrum of jobs has changed a lot. There's a lot of jobs, like no offense to these people, a lot of jobs that don't do anything. They're actually unnecessary. But because of our economy and because of the way we have set things up, it's still viable to be productive and to move society along, even though we would still move along without people holding certain positions, but still. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think your dad's generation was probably the last great generation, to be honest. I think our generation or my generation is the last generation to be able to see both sides, but our parents were the last ones to live the other side. Unless a giant solar flare goes and knocks all technology out and Bitcoin hits zero, which it's getting close. But
You guys were still able to have fun. You were able to get away with some stuff.
cameras didn't
Um,
bust us doing everything.
Cops nowadays, good luck. But our parents years ago, they could drag race on the road, and that was normal. Like you on a Friday night, you get your pickups and you go drag race.
Yeah, it's so
That
funny.
that's not something anymore you can
It's
do.
it's funny because now that you can get caught on a camera, you can get in trouble for it. Like I don't know, I that's one thing about cameras that really I don't like about them being used by government agencies and stuff like that. Sure, it might help you solve a murder, but to be honest, uh, who cares? Like, I would rather not be watched doing everything. All it's going to do at the end of the day, though, is encourage criminals to be better because now they have to take into account more things. They're not going to stop being a criminal because they can get caught. Criminals have always been able to be caught. It's learning to adapt and, perfect your trade and,
Depends on what type of criminal you are. If you're a criminal as in a lifelong criminal, then it's different, right? But for people that are poor and it's easier to take, maybe it's just easier to take what they see that they can't get. They're gonna get caught. But the ones that yeah are lifelong criminals that are smart, that know what they're doing, yeah, they're just gonna have to
they're going
evolve.
to adapt, and they're going to, which is, and it's a cat and mouse game with law abiding. I mean, see, I consider myself a law abiding skittiskin, but I also don't abide by all the laws. Like when I was in California, I'd carry everywhere because I think the fact that you can't carry is more dangerous to the individual than being able to carry. Because most people that carry guns, um, most people aren't carrying guns and shooting people every day. That's a very small sect of people that even want to get into a gunfight or think it's fun to get into a gunfight. But like most people are only carrying a gun for the what if, not for the hell yeah today I'm gonna kill a motherfucker. So
Yeah. That's kind of what happens with people that do martial arts. There's some of them that want to just do martial arts and submit someone once they learn how to do it. The majority of people aren't like that.
no, they just want to learn how to hold their own. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Self preservation is the biggest driver in the human head. It's just like the reason you save your children, right?
Hmm.
Is because those are your children that are going to spread your genetics. That's literally what's causing you to give up your own life to save your kids. It's not because they're your kid. It's because they're your kid and they are your um, they're your grapple into the next generation of life on this planet because it's your lineage. So it's all selfishly motivated. I've always said this. Everything is
You
selfishly
make having a
motivated.
kid sound even more exciting.
Well,
So you're telling me I can be here 200 years from now if I have a kid?
your kids might be here.
Call me Genghis PBR.
Yeah, Genghis PBR, Genghis Dong.
Yep.
Yeah, that guy had it right. I mean, he's related to most people on the planet, and everybody
Yeah.
knows his name because he slanged that Genghis Dong around.
Oh yeah. Evil,
We're all
but
inbred.
we all got a little Genghis in us.
Oh yeah, downstairs for sure. I'm just kidding.
All right. Well, guys, thank you for watching Not Married to the Name. You're going to have to stick around, tune in next couple of days to find another great one. We're going to keep bringing back more for you.
Hopefully,
So I'm PBR. This is Deuce. Have a good weekend. Go play some Fortnite.
or don't.